Hello everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. Well friends, as I've been telling you here on the Steckline Report, we've been waiting with bated breath to see what the folks in Washington were going to do about those tax deductions that we had, but they let them lapse last year, well, I guess it was earlier this year, and we've been waiting for them to renew them. The biggest one, of course, is moving deductions for new equipment, whether it be a farm or any kind of business, from $25,000 to $500,000. It's been at $500,000 for the last few years, but it fell back to $25,000 until they do something about it. Well, guess what, folks? They're doing something about it. But boy, can they screw things up in Washington. Stand by, I want to talk about it in a minute.
I first got started in the cattle business. My wife and my father-in-law got me into it. I love dealing with the animals and being in the outdoors. At American Ag Credit, I know a lot of them are in the same business that I am. Therefore they understand what I need and what problems I'm against, so they can work with you on it, and it makes it much easier.
It's been passed down to me through the generations, and I want to pass it on down to the next generation or two.
Well, friends, we finally got what we wanted. Not really. We've been waiting to see if we can come up with tax credits for buying new equipment. Whether you're a farmer or a business of any kind, a great shot in the arm for the economy of the United States, friends. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We've already proven it over the last few years, but they let that tax expire at the start of this year, and nobody's renewed it until they're talking about it now. And in fact, the House has passed a bill to renew it, to get it back to $500,000 if you bought anything in 2014 valued at that price, or any number of things up to $500,000, you can deduct it this year. What about next year? No, they just did it for 2014. Now that shows you what kind of an outfit we've got back there that we're working with. So folks, you need to run out and spend $500,000 here in the next 2 weeks to take advantage of this great thing that they did for you. Unless you were wild enough to think that they were going to do it anyway and you did it sometime this year. My hat's off to you if I had one, because you're smarter than the rest of us. In any event, the Senate still has to work on it. I don't know if they'll do anything or not. The main reason that they did this is because Obama was going to veto the deal if it was for any longer term. He wants a better tax cut for the middle class before he does anything for business, and that's the reason that they finally went ahead and said, and he said he will sign this if it's just for 2014. Maybe, just maybe in 2015, somebody will do something about it again. I hope they don't wait till December the 3rd or the 10th. In any event, folks, we have another interesting deal. You know, when you buy certified seed, you can plant it, you can harvest it, you can keep it for seed, you can plant it as a farmer, but you can't sell it. A guy in Weir, Kansas, by the name of Paul Simpson, sold it. Sold Everest, the wheat variety that a lot of people use currently. And that's a violation of the Federal Plant Variety Protection Act that protects property rights of the seed breeding work done by public or private groups. And he was fined $10,000 for selling that seed. Keep that in mind if you ever decide to do that yourself. Here's an interesting point about China. You know, they're a great buyer of our grain. Did you know that they're buying more sorghum than anything else? I couldn't believe it. According to Reuters, grain sorghum tops the list of Chinese grain imports, even more so than soybeans. But that's only been in the last year or two. In fact, last year, they bought half of the U.S. crop. It was a short year, folks. We didn't produce a lot. But I got to tell you, this year already, the marketing year for grain sorghum begins September 1, it's up sharply from a year ago, up sharply from the 5-year average, and some people are saying, hey friends, we need to be planting more sorghum acres next year. Let's see if the cash price will reflect this, but it looks like quite a deal. The United States exported virtually no sorghum to China just a couple of, like 4 or 5 years ago. Today, they 177 million bushels last year, and they're going after a lot more this year because the crop is bigger and cheaper. So folks, that's kind of the way it wraps up as we head towards the end of the year. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and I hope that you have a great Christmas season, which has already started. See you in the next Steckline Report.